There is a kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with sleep. It is the exhaustion of trying to hold every answer in your hands at once, of trying to see around every corner before you have even taken the first step. And if some part of you recognizes that feeling right now, take a slow breath, because you are about to be given permission to set something down. You do not have to know how everything is going to unfold. Not today, not this week, not even this year. You only have to trust that it is unfolding, whether you can see the shape of it or not. And the moment you allow yourself to believe that, something in your chest begins to loosen, like a hand that has been clenched for so long it forgot it was ever meant to open. For a long time, you may have believed that certainty was the price of peace, that you could only relax once you understood the outcome, once the path ahead was lit all the way to the end. But life was never built that way, and love was never built that way, and growth was never built that way. The most beautiful things that have ever happened to you arrived without a map. You simply took a step, and then another, and the ground held. So let this be the moment you stop demanding the whole picture before you allow yourself to breathe. Let this be the moment you remember that not knowing is not the same as being lost. You are not lost. You are simply standing at a place in your story where the next page has not been written yet, and that is not a tragedy. That is an invitation. Somewhere inside you, beneath the noise of the mind, there is a quieter intelligence that has never once needed you to explain how things will work out. It has carried you through every dawn you were not sure you would see, every closed door that later revealed itself to be a mercy, every ending that turned out to be the beginning of something you could not have designed on your own. That intelligence is still here. It never left. It has simply been waiting for you to stop shouting over it with your worry long enough to hear it again. I trust the unfolding of my life, even when I cannot see the whole path. Let those words settle into you, not as something to force, but as something to remember. You have trusted before, even when you did not call it trust. Every time you fell asleep, not knowing what tomorrow would bring, and woke up anyway. Every time you loved someone without a guarantee. Every time your body healed a small wound without you consciously directing a single cell. Trust has been living in you the whole time, quietly, patiently, doing its work in the dark the way roots do before anything green appears above the soil. Picture, if you will, a wide river moving through a valley at dawn. The light is soft and golden, spilling over the water in ribbons that shift and reform with every current. The river does not know exactly where each bend will take it. It does not pause at the edge of a curve to calculate the angle or measure the distance to the sea. It simply moves, trusting the shape of the land to guide it, trusting gravity, trusting the ancient agreement between water and earth that has never once been broken. And still, somehow, it always finds its way home. You are allowed to move like that river. You are allowed to trust the shape of your own life to carry you, even around the bends you cannot yet see past. The version of you sitting here today, listening to these words, cannot possibly know every twist the coming months will take, but something in you can trust the current all the same. Something in you already knows how to flow. Why then does trust feel so difficult for so many people? Why do so many spend their days gripping tightly to plans, to timelines, to the desperate need for reassurance that everything will work out exactly as imagined? It is because somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that safety comes from control. That if we can just predict enough, prepare enough, worry enough, we can prevent pain from ever touching us again. So the mind builds walls of anticipation, trying to defend a heart that was only ever asking to be held, not fortified. But control was never real safety. It was only ever the illusion of safety, purchased at the cost of peace. You can spend your whole life trying to grip the wheel of a future that was never yours to steer alone. Or you can learn, gently, to open your hands, not because the outcome does not matter to you, but because you are learning that you do not have to carry the entire weight of becoming by yourself. I release the need to control what has not yet happened. Say that to yourself quietly as many times as you need to. Not as a defeat, but as a relief. Releasing control does not mean giving up on your dreams. It means giving up on the exhausting belief that you alone must engineer every detail of how those dreams arrive. There is a difference between direction and domination. You can hold a direction in your heart, a soft and steady intention, while still allowing life to bring it to you in its own timing, its own way, sometimes more beautifully than you could have designed yourself. Think of a mountain rising in the distance, its peak wrapped in soft cloud, its base rooted so deeply into the earth that no storm has ever managed to move it. The mountain does not know, on any given morning, exactly how the weather will behave. It cannot control the wind or the rain or the way the light will fall across its slopes, and yet it stands unshaken because its strength was never dependent on knowing what the day would bring. Its strength comes from what lies beneath the surface, out of sight, holding everything steady. You have that same foundation within you. Beneath the surface of your thoughts, beneath the noise of your uncertainty, there is a steadiness that has been with you since before you can remember. It does not need to know the forecast. It simply holds. And when you remember to root down into that place instead of reaching up into the storm of your own predictions, you begin to feel a peace that circumstances alone were never going to give you. Let yourself imagine, for a moment, a version of your life 6 months from now where everything you have been quietly hoping for has already begun to take shape. You do not need to know the details of how it happened. You only need to feel the relief in your body, the lightness in your shoulders, the soft exhale of a person who no longer needs to grip so tightly because they can finally see that the unfolding was working in their favor the entire time. Let that feeling settle into you now, even before the evidence arrives. Let your body remember what ease feels like, so it can recognize it when it comes. I am safe, even in the space between what was and what is becoming. There is a particular kind of fear that lives specifically in the in-between. The fear of the threshold, the fear of the doorway that has not yet opened, the fear of standing in a hallway with no clear sign of what waits on the other side. Almost everyone has stood in that hallway at some point, uncertain whether to knock, uncertain whether to wait, uncertain whether the door will ever open at all. If you are standing there now, in whatever form that hallway takes in your own life, know this: the waiting is not empty. It is not wasted. It is not a punishment for something you did wrong. It is preparation, even when it does not feel like it, even when every day feels identical to the one before. There was someone who once spent almost 2 years in that kind of hallway. On the outside, very little seemed to be changing. The same apartment, the same short walk to the same modest job, the same quiet evenings that felt, some nights, unbearably long. And yet underneath all of that apparent stillness, something was shifting. Old beliefs about worthiness were quietly dissolving. A habit of shrinking, of apologizing for taking up space, was slowly being replaced by something steadier. None of it showed up on a calendar. None of it could be measured by anyone watching from the outside. But when the door finally did open, when an unexpected opportunity appeared that reshaped the following years entirely, it did not appear out of nowhere. It appeared because the person walking through it had already, quietly, become someone capable of receiving it. Your hallway is doing the same work in you, even now. Even on the days that feel repetitive, even on the days you cannot see a single sign of progress, something in you is being readied. Trust that you do not have to understand the mechanism to benefit from it. The same way you do not have to understand the biology of a seed to watch it eventually break through the soil. Picture a garden in early spring, the soil still cool, the surface still bare in places, giving no visible hint of what is happening underneath. A gardener who did not understand seeds might look at that empty patch of earth and assume nothing was happening at all. But beneath that quiet surface, roots are reaching, tiny threads of life are gathering strength, moisture is being drawn in, warmth is being stored. The garden is never actually empty. It is simply working in a language the eyes cannot yet read. Your life right now may look, on the surface, like very little is happening, but something is always growing beneath the surface of your days. Every conversation that shaped you, every small choice toward healing, every quiet moment you chose peace over panic, is being woven into the soil of what is coming. You are not behind. You are not stuck. You are in the part of the story that does not photograph well, the part that happens underground, the part every garden requires before anything can bloom. I welcome new possibilities, even the ones I cannot yet imagine. Let that affirmation open something in you. So often we limit our hope to the shape of what we already know to ask for. We picture one very specific outcome and cling to it as though it were the only version of good that exists. But life, in its wisdom, often has something larger in mind, something that could not fit inside the narrow request we were making. When you release the need to know exactly how your good will arrive, you make room for it to arrive in a form even better than the one you were imagining. Consider the many doors that have closed in your life that you once grieved, only to look back later and feel a quiet gratitude that they closed. A job that did not work out, a relationship that ended before you were ready, a plan that fell apart at the last moment, leaving you standing in what felt, at the time, like ruins, and yet somehow something better found its way to you afterward. Not because the universe was punishing you by taking those things away, but because it was clearing space for something that could not have arrived while your hands were still full of the old thing. Trust works the same way now, even with the things you cannot yet see the reason for. The delay you are frustrated by, the answer you are still waiting on, the path that seems to be taking longer than you expected. None of it is proof that you are being overlooked. It may simply be proof that something is still being prepared, some details still being arranged behind the scenes, so that when it finally arrives, it arrives whole, ready, and exactly on time. I trust the timing of my life. There is such relief in that sentence, if you let yourself feel it fully. Timing has always felt like one of the hardest things to trust, because our minds are wired to want resolution now, immediately, without delay. But nothing true and lasting has ever been rushed into being. Not a friendship, not a skill, not a body that heals, not a season that changes. Everything worth having in this life arrives in its own rhythm, and your task was never to force that rhythm faster. Your task was only to stay open while it did its work. Picture a sunrise breaking slowly over open water, the sky moving through deep blue into soft lavender, into a warm gold that spreads gently across the horizon. No sunrise has ever rushed itself into existence. It does not burst suddenly into full daylight the moment darkness begins to lift. It takes its time, layering light upon light, until the whole sky is transformed. And yet, by the time you look up and notice it is fully morning, it feels as though it happened all at once, as though the night simply gave way to day in a single breath. Your transformation is happening in that same slow, layered way. Even on the mornings it feels like nothing is changing. One day, you will look back and realize the shift has already happened, that the fear you used to carry does not visit as often anymore, that the old story about not being enough has quietly lost its grip, that peace has become more familiar to you than panic. It will feel, in that moment, as though it happened suddenly. But really, it will have been unfolding gently this entire time, layer by layer, exactly like a sunrise. I am becoming, one gentle layer at a time. Let yourself feel the truth of that. There is no need to rush your own becoming. There is no prize for arriving at peace faster than anyone else. Your only task is to keep choosing it, again and again, in each small moment, trusting that the choosing itself is what builds the light. Now let yourself imagine an open door, standing at the edge of a quiet meadow, sunlight pouring through it in a wide golden beam. You do not know exactly what lies beyond that door. You cannot see the room on the other side, cannot yet name what waits for you there. And for once, let that be all right. Let the not knowing feel less like a threat and more like an invitation to walk forward anyway, trusting that whatever is on the other side has been prepared with you in mind. Walk toward that door now, in your imagination, feeling the grass soft beneath your feet, feeling the warmth of the light growing stronger as you approach. You do not need to run. You do not need to force the door open before you arrive. You only need to keep walking, one unhurried step after another, trusting that the door will be there when you reach it, trusting that it was always meant to open for you. As you step through, feel the sense of arrival, even though you cannot see the details yet. Feel the exhale of a person who has been carrying uncertainty for a long time and is finally allowed to set it down. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your breath deepen. You are safe here. You have always been safe here, even when it did not feel that way. Even in the moments the noise of your own fear made safety hard to sense. I release what no longer serves me, and I welcome what is here to help me grow. There is a kind of grief that comes with letting go, even of things that were never good for you. The familiar has a way of feeling safe simply because it is familiar, even when it has been quietly draining you for years. Old fears, old patterns, old versions of yourself that once served a purpose but have long since become too small for who you are becoming. It is natural to feel a little tender as you release these things, the way a hand feels tender after finally opening from a long, held fist. Let that tenderness be all right too. You are not doing anything wrong by feeling it. You are simply making room. Imagine now a wide horizon stretching out before you, endless and open, the kind of horizon that makes you feel both small and completely held at the same time. There is no wall on that horizon, no ceiling, no limit pressing down on what is possible for your life. Whatever you have believed about what you are capable of, whatever ceiling you have quietly placed over your own dreams, let it dissolve now against that open sky. You were never meant to live a small life simply because uncertainty made a bigger one feel frightening. I am worthy of the good that is already moving toward me. Say it again, slower this time. I am worthy of the good that is already moving toward me. Not good that you have to prove yourself for. Not good that you have to earn through endless striving. Good that is simply, quietly, moving toward you the way morning moves toward night. Inevitable, patient, unstoppable. You do not have to chase it. You only have to stay open enough to let it find you when it arrives. There will be days, even after hearing all of this, when the old fear creeps back in. When the mind starts reaching again for certainty, for guarantees, for a map it was never going to be given. When that happens, be gentle with yourself. Trust is not a single decision you make once and never revisit. It is a practice, a returning, a choice you make again and again, especially on the days it feels hardest. Every time you notice the fear rising and choose, even briefly, to breathe instead of spiral, you are strengthening the muscle of trust a little more. I choose peace, even when I do not have all the answers. Let that sentence become a kind of home you can return to again and again, whenever the ground beneath you feels unfamiliar. You do not need every answer to have peace. You only need the willingness to keep choosing it, moment by moment, breath by breath. Picture yourself walking now through that same meadow you imagined earlier, the grass gentle beneath your feet, the sky wide and clear above you. Somewhere ahead, though you cannot see it clearly yet, your future is already being prepared. Rooms are being arranged. Doors are being built. People who will matter to you have not yet crossed your path, but they are moving, in their own lives, closer to the moment they will. Opportunities that do not exist yet are being shaped by the choices you are making right now, today, in this very breath. You do not have to see all of it to trust that it is happening. You only have to keep walking, keep choosing peace over panic, keep choosing openness over the exhausting grip of control. The unfolding does not need your permission to continue. It has been happening all along. What it needed was your trust, so that you could walk beside it instead of fighting against it. I trust life. I trust myself. I trust the timing of everything that is coming. Feel those words settle into your chest like warm light spreading slowly through a room at dawn. You are not behind. You are not being punished by delay. You are exactly where you need to be, standing at the edge of an unfolding that is far bigger and far kinder than your fear has allowed you to imagine. There is another kind of knowing that has nothing to do with facts or logic, and everything to do with feeling. You have felt it before, even if you did not have a name for it. A quiet pull toward a certain choice, even when it made no sense on paper. A gentle hesitation before a decision that later revealed itself to be wise caution. A sense deep in your body that something was about to change, long before it actually did. That quiet voice has never once demanded that you understand it fully before you listen to it. It has only ever asked to be trusted. So much of the anxiety around not knowing comes from believing that the only valid form of knowing is the kind you can explain, measure, and justify to someone else. But your body has its own intelligence, older than language, older than the stories your mind tells about what should or should not be possible. When you stop demanding that everything be provable, before you allow yourself to feel at peace, you make room for a different kind of guidance to reach you, one that has been trying to speak to you all along, underneath the noise. I trust the quiet knowing inside me, even when I cannot explain it. Let yourself imagine a small, sacred space somewhere just for you. It might be a quiet room with soft light filtering through gauzy curtains, or a corner of a garden where the air smells faintly of rain and blooming things, or simply a feeling more than a place, a stillness you can return to no matter where your body happens to be standing. In that space, nothing is required of you. No decisions have to be made there. No plans have to be finalized. You are simply allowed to rest, to breathe, to be held by something larger than your own effort. Visit that space now in your mind and notice how your body responds simply to the idea of it. Notice the way your breath slows without you forcing it to. Notice the way your shoulders soften, the way the muscles around your eyes release a tension you did not even realize you were holding. This space has always been available to you. It was never something you had to build from nothing. It was already there, waiting, the way a garden waits quietly through winter for the first sign of warmth. I am held, even when I feel like I am carrying everything alone. There is a temptation, when life feels uncertain, to measure your progress against everyone else's, to look at the people around you and wonder why their path seems clearer, their timeline faster, their doors already open while yours still feel closed. But comparison has never once told the truth about a life. It only ever tells the story of two different roads glimpsed from a distance, as though distance alone could reveal what either road is actually made of. Your path was never meant to look like anyone else's. The timing that is right for you would not necessarily be right for someone else, and the timing that feels right for them may not have been able to hold what you are being asked to build. When you release the habit of comparing your unfolding to another's, you free yourself to actually notice your own growth, quiet and specific and entirely your own. I release comparison and I trust the path that was made only for me. Picture calm mornings stretching out ahead of you, one after another, each one a little softer than the anxious mornings that came before. Imagine waking without the immediate grip of worry, without reaching first for your phone or your to-do list, but instead lying still for a moment, feeling your breath rise and fall, feeling grateful simply to be here, in a body, in a life that is still unfolding in your favor. That kind of morning is not reserved for people whose circumstances have already resolved themselves. It is available to you now, in the middle of your own unfinished story, the moment you decide to meet the day with trust instead of bracing. Gratitude, real gratitude, has a way of softening the grip of fear more effectively than almost anything else. Not the forced kind, the kind that lists things quickly out of obligation, but the kind that actually pauses, actually feels the warmth of what is already here. The people who love you, the breath moving in and out of your body without you ever having to remember to take it, the roof over your head, however humble, that has sheltered you through every storm so far. Gratitude does not deny that hard things exist. It simply refuses to let the hard things be the only thing you notice. I am grateful for what is already here, even as I trust for what is still coming. Let a wave of healing energy move gently through your body now, starting at the crown of your head and moving slowly downward, like warm water flowing over stone. Feel it soften the places you have been holding tension without realizing it, the places where fear likes to settle when it has nowhere else to go. Let it move across your shoulders, down through your chest, into your stomach, down through your hips and your legs, all the way to the soles of your feet. You do not have to understand exactly how healing works to let yourself receive it. You only have to be willing to let it in. There may be old wounds in you that still ache when certain memories surface. Moments when you were disappointed, dismissed, or let down by circumstances that felt unfair. Those wounds do not need to be forgotten in order for you to move forward. They only need to be met with compassion instead of judgment, the way you would meet a frightened child rather than scold them for being afraid. Every part of you that is still hurting deserves that kind of gentleness, and every part of you is still hurting is also slowly healing, even on the days it does not feel that way. I am healing gently and completely in my own time. Now imagine a clear sky above you, wide and blue, without a single cloud to interrupt the openness. That sky has always been there, even on the days storms passed through it. The clouds were never permanent. They gathered, they moved, they eventually cleared, and the blue was always waiting underneath, patient, unbothered, exactly as vast as it had always been. Your peace is like that sky. Even on the days worry moves through you like weather, the peace underneath has never actually left. It is simply waiting for the storm to pass, the way it always has before. I remember that my peace is deeper than my worry, and it is always still here. There is a kind of faith that does not require proof, the kind that chooses to trust simply, because trusting feels better than the alternative, simply because a life lived in openness feels more spacious than a life lived in constant bracing. That faith is not naive. It is not a denial of hardship or a refusal to plan wisely for your future. It is simply a decision to stop assuming the worst by default, to stop treating uncertainty as a threat and start treating it as what it actually is: unwritten space, full of possibility rather than danger. You get to decide in this very moment what kind of relationship you want to have with the unknown. You can keep treating it as an enemy to be feared, something to be controlled and predicted and defended against at every turn. Or you can begin, slowly, to treat it as a trusted companion, one that has never actually failed to deliver you into your next season, even when the delivery looked nothing like what you expected. The unknown has carried you this far. It has never once left you stranded, no matter how frightening it felt in the moment. I welcome the unknown as a trusted part of my unfolding, not an enemy to fear. Let yourself imagine, one more time, standing at the edge of a still, clear lake at the base of that same mountain from earlier. Its surface so calm it perfectly mirrors the sky above. Notice how the stillness of the water does not come from an absence of depth. The lake is deep, full of life beneath the surface, full of movement you cannot see from where you stand. And yet the surface remains calm, undisturbed, reflecting the light perfectly, because it has learned not to resist what moves through it. You can hold that same kind of stillness, even while deep change is happening beneath the surface of your life. You do not have to churn and thrash on the outside to prove that growth is happening on the inside. You can be calm and be changing all at once. You can be at peace and be becoming all at once. There is no contradiction there. In fact, it is often in the calmest, quietest seasons that the deepest transformation takes root. I am calm on the surface, even as I grow and change beneath it. Take one more slow breath now, and let yourself feel how far you have already come simply by choosing to listen to these words today. That choice alone says something about you. It says that some part of you has already decided to stop knuckling your way through uncertainty and start trusting the unfolding instead. That decision, small as it may seem, is the beginning of everything shifting. As you come back now to this moment, to this breath, to the room around you, carry this feeling with you. Carry the image of the river that never needed to see around the bend to keep flowing. Carry the mountain that stood steady without knowing the weather. Carry the garden growing quietly, beneath the surface. The sunrise layering itself gently into morning, the open door waiting patiently in golden light, the wide horizon with no ceiling pressing down on what is possible for you. You do not need to know how. You only need to trust that it is happening. And it is happening even now, even as you read these final words, even in the quiet, ordinary moment of this very day. Something in your life has already begun to shift. A new chapter is opening, gently, patiently, exactly on time. You are supported. You are capable. You are worthy. And the good that has been moving toward you this entire time is closer now than it has ever been. Let go of the need to know. Trust what is unfolding. And watch, gently, as your life begins to prove, again and again, that it was always working in your favor.